Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We're back with your favorite podcast, Luca's Tigers and Bronze. Oh my.
All right, Luca Nation. I'm coming in hot today because Cage got on me yesterday saying I'm not bringing enough energy in the introduction and we're losing people. So I just want to jump in here. Thank you.
You know
all.
what it is? You were drinking that Gucci stuff, whatever it was yesterday, and it just kind of calmed you and woosah'd you down even more than usual. You were drinking that stuff. I looked it up. I was saying it wrong. It's with a K. It's like kombucha or something like that. And I was calling it the Gooch, which from my childhood, Different Strokes was a TV show. The Gooch was the bad guy. He was the bully who used to beat up Arnold in school.
That's one theory. We were party planning, and I don't know about you guys. I always get really like we were having 40 people over for the party, and I always get super anxious. I want everything to go well. I know how these parties go, and thank God it did go well. But I always get really anxious and lower energy before a party. I don't know why it is. It's almost something I can't control.
So it went well because the cops only showed up once. Is that what you're telling me?
The cops are an initiative, to be honest. We live in a small town where everyone kind of knows each other, so it's kind of cool.
Listen, guys, he's being modest. This is a nice, calm, woosah guy during our podcast, but when he throws a party, it's a rager. Think Project X, and if you haven't seen that movie, you should go watch it because it's some funny stuff. That's what the party's like. Yeah, mom and dad dropping acid. It's a lot of fun. No, huh? No, mom and dad weren't dropping acid? Okay. You never know, man.
I don't know what this lady. I didn't get to watch as much of the game as I would have liked, but I turned it off at halftime because that's when we started turning up a little bit, and I came back and the Celtics were up by 10, and I just don't know what happened in that third quarter. Were you watching it?
I did watch it, but yeah, I mean, it's amazing what they'll attribute it to. SportsCenter, this morning is attributing it to some form of halftime talk given by Kemba Walker, telling them not to worry, everything's going to be all right. Kind of like, I don't know if he put on Bob Marley and sang. I have no idea, but he basically, everybody's talking about that today. Everything's going to be all right, don't worry, and now all of a sudden it's they really – so here's the deal. They had a great third quarter, but early fourth quarter I think about 8 or 9 minutes left, the Heat made a run and cut it to single digits. Mm-hmm. So I think at the time it was like maybe 107-98 or something like that. So the Heat did get back into it after that. They just never were able to cut it closer than that. When we talked about the Lakers series and the Nuggets won a game, after 2-0, and the Lakers kind of like gave up what looked like an out-of-character performance to the Nuggets for the Nuggets win. We talked about it, and I said, do you think the Lakers took the game off? You think they just kind of rested? You think they just didn't care? And I mean, when I saw at halftime, I think Tyler Hero had 2 points, and I'm like, all right, maybe they're just, they were up 3-1. Maybe they're just saying, all right, we're just going to take it easy. I mean, you don't do that. But
you don't do that.
But I've seen now twice in both of these series games that were so out of character. And I guess the flip side to it is these teams have been pretty evenly matched, even though it's 3-2 in the series now. I think Boston has now scored more points overall total in the series. I think going into yesterday, they both had the same amount of points, I think, going into the game, even though it was 3-1. So they've been closely fought games. You've been saying this all the time. But it does appear that in the fourth quarter, the Heat has been the better team. At least if you just watch the fourth quarter of all the games, it looks like, the Heat's the better team. So I honestly don't know, what to say as far as, how that went. I still don't think the Celtics are going to win 3 games in a row, but now they don't have to. They only have to win 2, So I don't know. I mean,
were the refs that bad? I read some things that the refs were bad. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it seems vogue. I even did it myself, right after the Lakers game. It seems like the in vogue thing to do to to blame the refs now, which it is what it is. I mean, I guess I guess you can blame the refs. Look, officiating's officiating. It's subjective, and it always will be. So, that's it. That's the deal, man.
Here's my issue with it, and I know Iguodala's got to shoot. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that Max Kellerman clip where it's like the aliens coming to Earth, facing the Death Star, and I have one guy on the Warriors that I need to take the shot. Iguodala. Oh, the dumbest clip hands down circulated on the internet. he's just a bad shooter. So like I was looking at the box score after the game. Everyone shot well except for Iguodala and Dragic, specifically from three, and Jay Crowder. Dragic was 1 for 7 for three. Jay Crowder was 0 for 6.
Yeah, I mean they didn't have a good game. They didn't have a good game, and I think with a couple minutes into the fourth quarter, they were still in it. Like they could, if they would have turned it on, they could have been all right. I mean, I don't think the final score doesn't show what the game was like, except for the third quarter. The third quarter just, I don't know, Boston just hit the accelerator and just kind of, they everything was clicking for them. As much as it hasn't been clicking most of the time, everything was clicking for them in the third quarter.
I love it. It's going to be interesting. I like this series a lot. I'm not going to be upset that there's.
Let's do a quick baseball thing, right? So I was excited yesterday. I saw Tatis hit a home run, number 16, only one behind Ozuna, because I'm still pulling for Tatis in a pretty wide open NL MVP race. And then I saw Atlanta in an extra innings, game winning home run. Freddie Freeman hit a home run, and I'm like, Freeman might actually take this MVP. I mean, he's close to the top in batting order. He's only got 13 home runs, but his batting average is significantly better. His on-base percentage is better. I was looking at Tatis's numbers again. You'd like an MVP to be hitting more than 280. So you'd like maybe him to finish the weekend strong. But,
how many games left?
It's just the weekend here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Baseball's a little bit slept on, huh?
Yeah, well, it's going to be playoffs soon. People are clinching playoffs, and you want to talk about a crazy clinch. Last year, the Marlins lost 100 games. Right. And it looked like some trades and stuff they were going to be making earlier in the year, and the fact that they played no games. Remember, I mean, you want to talk about crazy upon crazy. Remember they had like the first month of their season was basically canceled because of COVID. Remember, they had like 8 guys with COVID. But yeah, the Marlins actually beat the Yankees yesterday and clinched a playoff spot. They're the number 2 in the AL East. And if you told me coming into the year that the Phillies, the Mets, and the Nationals, the returning World Series champs, would all be eliminated in favor of the Marlins, I would have said you were nuts. But that's the kind of crazy results we talked about in the last couple episodes about teams going to make the playoffs. Cincinnati making the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's just an amazing thing. San Diego and LA made the playoffs. I mean, there are still some seats, some spots to be worked out. I mean, Philly has, a shot, right? I mean, depends on what Milwaukee and San Francisco do today. But there are 8 National League playoff spots. Atlanta and Miami have clinched. The Cubs and Cincinnati have clinched. The Dodgers and San Diego have clinched, and you have at 28 and 30, Philly, Milwaukee. You have 29 and 29 is San Francisco. It looks like St. Louis at 29 and 27 is going to grab the first wild card spot. And you got the same thing going on. It looks like AL East is basically done and clinched. It looks like the 2 wild cards are going to Toronto and the White Sox / Cleveland and Minnesota. That division, the Central, is crazy. The top 3 teams are divided by 1 game. Interesting stuff, because you're going to start talking about who's going to win the awards. You got literally just today and tomorrow left to play, regular season games. But, we got baseball playoffs are going to start on Tuesday.
Can we talk a little bit about baseball preview? So, this is the only year it's been where there's 3 different sports playing at the same exact time.
Yeah, well, you're going to have hockey's finishing up, right? But you're going to have not only just playing, but if the hockey series extend to Tuesday?
I think the Lightning are up 3-1.
They're up 3-1.
It's really hard to keep up with all these sports, and
the Lightning won.
I don't like to talk about things I don't know, so I really kind of stay in my lane. But I believe it's 3-1 Lightning.
They are, it's Lightning 3-1. They won in overtime yesterday for Game 6 if necessary. If it goes to 7, Game 7 is scheduled for Wednesday, September 30th. If that happens, and I doubt it's going to happen because they're up 3-1, but if that happens, you will have a situation where not only are the 3 sports playing at the same time, but all 3 will be in the playoffs at the same time. So, I mean, it's a little crazy to think about that, obviously, but because the baseball playoffs start on Tuesday. Right. And Wednesday, by the way, Wednesday, if you are a baseball fan, I know some people, your teams are out, but if you are a baseball fan, just hop on ESPN. It's all to be determined, so you don't have times and you name it. But on Wednesday, if you have an extra PTO day sitting around in your office, and you don't need to go in, or you want to take the day off, Just take a look, hop on ESPN and see there are 8 baseball playoff games scheduled for Wednesday, September 30th. They're going to be playing 8 games. Well, we can't do it yet because we don't know who's playing who. But when that's set on Sunday night, we can definitely do that. But the point being, this won't happen again, although I'd love to see the reaction. You can't these baseball games are more than 3 hours, so you cannot watch every play of every game that's going to get played because they can't fit it in 24 hours. They're obviously going to overlap them, you name it. But it is going to be the closest thing baseball's ever had to a tournament. And people have tried to do that. So March Madness, exactly. It's going to be like baseball's version of March Madness, which is going to be pretty insane. I mean, I think it's going to be cool. I'm sure they're going to cut the edges of these games and for television purposes, be, cutting in and cutting out. But it's going to be a lot of fun. That Wednesday,
you're kind of stealing my question. You're going into my question. So I wanted to ask,
Go for it.
Right? So with 4 sports at the same time, it's never happened like that. Does NFL take a back seat?
For now, I think it does because hockey is game 5 of the finals. You got the NBA, which is they are at their conference finals, about to be the finals. You got baseball in the last weekend of the regular season, which teams are fighting for playoff spots, and you got and pretty soon going to be the playoffs. And NFL is going to be in week 3. So, yeah, I believe most definitely the NFL will take a backseat to all of the other sports because, their season will continue long after all 3 of these other ones will be done.
So. Votto said the Reds are a fucking nightmare for opponents in the playoffs. What do you think? Trevor Bauer's a beast this year.
It's true, especially because the first series is a 3-game series. So anybody who has a legitimate ace for a pitcher is going to be difficult. Anybody who's got legitimate ace pitcher is going to be difficult.
Can they pitch twice or not?
Not in a 3-game series, no.
So who do you have? I guess we could do a baseball preview and talk about that. You hit a monster yesterday.
Acuna, yep. Listen, if I could, I'd make Acuna my pick again. But I literally just gave him last week and said that his top update card is underpriced. And I will be
effortless swing. I can't believe it hit the ball at 500 feet. It looks like he's
it was like 495 feet, and it looked like he wasn't even trying. It's pretty crazy.
I love it, man. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun week. I think NFL has a lot of good games this week as well.
Oh, come on. It's the game of the season, right? The Chiefs-Ravens.
I love it. I think I love games like that because it's one of those games where I think the Ravens are going to win, but I think the Chiefs are better. And I don't know if you also feel that way.
I do. So before we jump into football or our picks and stuff, I do have one little hint for our guys. Anybody who opened up Topps Baseball this year, this isn't a play per se, but I would like to add value to our guys. Anybody who opened up any Topps Baseball products, Series 1, Series 2, whatever it is, they had a promotion in there called the Home Run Challenge. They do it every year. Andrew, it looks like this. I know you don't really care, but it's one of those things where you get a card. It was about 1 per box, and it's got a player on it, whether it's that one was Anthony Rizzo or Freddie Freeman or whoever it is, and you you get a code on the back, kind of like a redemption code. And the theory behind this is if you enter that guy's code, you pick a day you think he's going to hit a home run, you win a prize if you pick it correctly. If he hits a home run on a day, you put it in. This thing was suspended, I think, during this season because it was a crazy COVID season. But at some point in time, they put it back on. I did not realize that. I was reading an article and online today and saw that it's back on. So I have like a stack of these things from all the Topps boxes that I opened. So my son's got a little chore today. He's going to be entering all of the codes in because there's only 2 games left. So we're gonna hope that maybe Freddie Freeman or who else do we have here? Nolan Arenado or Max Kepler. Hopefully none of these guys are really that injured, but we're going to put in for today and for tomorrow, and that's it. You got to use those. So if you're like me and you put those to the side and you're like, oh, it's canceled, go find them. Go back into your stack of broken cards and put them in because you only have today and tomorrow to enter those, and then done. Anyway, just a little public service announcement. Sorry, man.
No, I love it. I'm just talking to someone about LeBron Chrome. I always find that interesting, like what Chris Hodge said on that episode. And if you guys haven't had a chance to go and listen to it, it's super interesting. Just like these elite players, you know, Mahomes, Kawhi, LeBron, what happens to their cards after they win a title? And I know this is a little premature, but like it's just a cool thing I think it's a cool phenomenon in the hobby, right? When's the right time to sell? When's the right time to buy? Are championships priced in? And I know I'm going off on a little rant here, but it's something
it's value. I mean, if I remember correctly, he tracked the Mahomes card really well, right? And he was talking about how people are buying. But, you know, while it might have gone up the Monday, Tuesday after the Super Bowl, then it dipped. You saw a little spike, but a lot. It's kind of like we talked about this stocks, right? Like the earnings beat is already baked into the price. The good news is already baked into the price. And, you know, you kind of like, what do they say? Buy on the rumor, sell on the news. So you buy on the rumor that LeBron's going to win the title and then sell when it actually happens. That's the way it works with stocks.
Guys, we're going to have a card ladder, I guess it's called coupon code, discount code for you guys in the next few days, right? So go back, listen to that Chris Hodge episode. We talk about it a little bit there. Best practices to use card ladder, what it helps with. Josh Johnson, also from Cardboard Chronicles, you know, he's the brains, tech guy behind card ladder. So we're going to have a code for you guys here in the next few days. Is that right, Kate?
Let's hope so. And, you know, listen, card ladder, if you're listening to this, let's go. Let's get on that.
So my play, what I love to do is I love anecdotal evidence, and I also love to cross that with stats, okay? So anecdotally, what I'm seeing, I follow, you guys know I'm in a ton of Facebook groups, and there's been a lot of football ripping recently. And I've been reading some comments, and what I found interesting, Cage, is a comment that said this: hey guys, ripped 10 blasters and got no Joe Burrows. That's pretty interesting, right? Because if you think about it, you and Ian ripped 4 blasters and you got how many Zions? 4.
In the 4 blasters, we got a regular, 2 base, a silver, and a neon green pulsar. So yeah, 4 and 4.
So why I say that? Of course, it's not indicative of the entire market, right? Like, you don't know. Maybe that guy just got unlucky. It happens. But I do see a little bit less pop on these football cards. I think Panini's done a better job of kind of creating a bit less scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
It probably goes along lines like they're not stupid. This is a good company that's been around for years. They understand NBA has a lot more demand, so we need to fill that demand with more cards. NFL, this is our first year getting into NFL, so we have to make the star players more attractive. So I'm going to give you a play, and then I'm going to tell you guys also how to make it your own. So it's piggybacking on Cage's play of Jonathan Taylor. So I think Mosaic football is a buy, especially some of the stars. I'm going to bring you Jonathan Taylor, but this could apply to quite a few of the players that Cage has brought to you that are rookies this year that are in that Mosaic release. So what I am seeing is the SSP, like the really short print cards, are very, very rare. And I know that seems obvious, but it really isn't. Like if you go Jonathan Taylor Mosaic and you just filter, there's not a ton of short print cards available on eBay. Now, of course, that could be because they're being graded. But at the same time, I think it is worth your while to avoid the base with the Mosaic and go for something more short print, whether that's a gold, if you could afford it, a silver, like a Jonathan Taylor silver here is 128 or best offer. I'm not a big NFL debut guy, so I don't buy those cards. But the point is, I think because there's so little supply of those cards, you grab it, you grade it. I think there's always going to be a buyer for that because there's just not that much supply out there. So even if this guy doesn't perform, even if this guy doesn't really, have a breakout year, because there's so few out there, you buy it raw, you grade, and you sell it. I think you already have a ton of profit baked in. And I would just avoid the base. You could go base, but I just wouldn't, because what I've seen is the Mosaic parallels and short print, they're more scarce, obviously, but they feel significantly more scarce, and they feel like they're much more in demand. So I think what's going to happen is when Prism comes out, people are going to flock to Prism for base, but they're still going to really, really like the designs and the parallels and the short prints of the mosaic, and there's still going to be demand there. So now, that's Jonathan Taylor. I like Jonathan Taylor a lot. I like how he runs. I think he's going to do really well in the Colts. I think he has a huge fan base, right? Like he was at Wisconsin, now he's in Indy. It's right around the corner. But you could go back. You could do this with Burrow cards. You could go back and listen to some of the other tips, like the NFL preview that Cage gave. I don't think Jerome Robinson is in this, but you could go back to listen to some previous episodes and make this play your own, right? Who is the guy that you think that's in this rookie class that's going to break out? Is it Dobbins? And use the same strategy to buy the guy you want. So I'm really excited about this one. I think it's going to be a good one. It's buying short print mosaic of your guy in the NFL, grading, and I think regardless of how the performance is of that player, you're going to already have profit baked in.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. All right, so it's not. What's funny about it, I'm usually not at a loss for words. I never even thought about making that type of a play. I like it.
It's interesting.
No.
Not like do this like you guys are sheep. It's like, hey, this is how I'm thinking about it. This is what I'm seeing. And I think that's really what I want to be here. I've told you guys this plenty of times. Like, I don't want to be like a tout that gives you guys plays and you guys go and blindly follow them. I want to tell you and teach you and educate you and share some of the experiences I've had in the hobby so you could go ahead and make these plays your own.
I like it. I like it. Listen, it's different. It's a little different than what we normally do. So that's pretty cool. I like it a lot. So let me talk about a couple things. So I have a pick here, but I want to chat about a couple things. Number one, Crazy Sports Saturday, right? We got the Lakers, we got the Game 5 of the NHL, and we have UFC. So I want to tell you guys just a quick, in case you're betting on it, a little sneak, a little fun in here.
I just couldn't.
What'd you say?
Why did they schedule the game for 9 p.m.?
It's 9 p.m.
Just put it at 5, 6 p.m.
Well, because remember, I understand where you're coming from, and also the game is being played on the East Coast. But remember, it's the Lakers, right? And the Lakers are a West Coast team. So if they put it at 5 p.m. per your request, that's telling people on a Saturday in LA where the team is from, 2 o'clock on a Saturday, please come, watch the 2 o'clock. Go to the bar and watch the game. Okay. So first of all, I don't know that there are that many bars that are open across the country that have TVs outside for outdoor dining. But I can see this upsets you. I can see it gets your goat, as they say.
2 p.m. I have to wait till 9 p.m. to watch this game, and
you're an early riser and early to bed, early to wake. I get it. It is what it is. So we'll figure that all out. But the UFC tonight, 2 big fights in the main. I love it. They say styles make matchups for UFC. I've had a couple of people asking me about my, UFC thoughts, picks, whether we watch it. Two title fights going on. In the main event, it is one of the cooler stylistic matchups that I've seen. I would equate the main event fight to a bull fight because you have a bull and you have a matador. I mean, Izzy Adesanya is, the last style bender, as they like to call him. He's the matador, clearly. He's going to be looking to avoid for the first round, maybe the first 2 rounds, the bull charge of Costa. And he could easily get caught. I mean, the guy's going to really go after him. But, Adesanya has that Gastelum fight under his belt, which was a closer fight than he thought. And Gastelum's much more of a bull, more of a Frazier to the Ali that Adesanya is trying to be. What's up?
2 undefeated guys, too.
So that's the thing, right? So I don't think Costa can last in the championship rounds, round 4, round 5 in a fight like this. I think that if Adesanya is smart, counter punches and stays away for the first 2 rounds, is able to land counter shots and doesn't get caught on one of these, he's almost like bull Costa on one of these bull charges. It's Adesanya's fight to lose. And the same goes for the co-main between Dom Reyes and Jan Blachowicz. Reyes, I think, deserved better than the decision he got against John Jones. A lot of people thought he won that fight. This is clearly Reyes' fight to lose. Same type of situation. As long as Reyes respects the power of Blachowicz, I mean, he's been really good. He deserves to be in this spot. As long as he fights smart and avoids it. Bukovic's got knockout power. All he needs, it's like a puncher's chance. All he needs is that one shot to land. If there were good odds on a prop of, Bukovic by knockout, I might actually, think about putting some money on it. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Reyes fights smart. I think, this is, like I said, his fight to lose. You're setting it up for some bigger fights. So, if I were putting money on it, Adesanya and Reyes are probably going to win the fights, probably going to win them, in the later rounds, if not by distance. Reyes probably by distance. Adesanya might stop Costa later, only because Costa probably doesn't have the cardio to actually last the full 5. So there's my deal on the UFC, and here's my pick. Go ahead, ask. You got a question?
What do you think is the difference between gamesmanship and sportsmanship, right? So, and I think people always toe that line. I'll give you context. So, did you see like the press conference yesterday? And like Adesanya, he pulled out a white belt, threw it at Costa.
Well, I think he threw it back at him, right? But I saw the belt throwing. I mean, listen, it's become a circus. Those weigh-ins are almost like a circus. I think it's all basically fake. That Adesanya did the crane technique. He did the Karate Kid kick. He imitated it. Listen, they're trying to charge up the fans. This is a UFC pay-per-view without any big names, and this is one of the biggest problems I have with the UFC recently. They don't really have any marquee people. When I got into it, way back in the day, I got into it, and Royce Gracie was enough of a name to carry any pay-per-view you wanted. But besides that, even in 09, 10, we're talking about 10 years ago, your headliners were Spider, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre. You had Brock Lesnar fighting. You had, John Jones was coming around. You had, BJ Penn, Matt Hughes. You had legends were the champions at the time that I started watching. And now I don't even know if I can name all the champions in all the weight classes. We've lost Ronda Rousey, who was, obviously a marquee. Conor McGregor is worried about fighting Manny Pacquiao. I think they'll, I don't know who's going to watch that or pay for it. But think about it. They're going to try to charge through ESPN Plus some $65 for pay-per-view. The vast majority of people have not heard the names that are on the top of this card. So they have to, you're talking about it. You're not a UFC fan, but now you're talking about throwing the belt. So you've seen clips of it. It's obviously been, put in front of you. So that's why they're doing it. I don't think there's anything to it. I don't think those two guys are carrying in any extra chips on their shoulder tonight. Oh shit, he threw a white belt at me. I don't think they care. I think it's all just part of the show. So my pick.
Remember David brought up Brock Lesnar?
Yeah.
And from the Vikings. I was just thinking of David Peck, and that was our first guest episode.
Listen, Peck's awesome. I love his Twitter content as well. He's always putting up great pictures of his wrestling cards, and sold the Rock card recently. And the Hogan stuff is still going up. That wrestling area is one of those crazy niches, of cards. But that's what you'll see. So my card pick, just so we can get to the point here. So, Andrew, I'm going to ask you a question, right? If I were to ask you, there's a lot of cards for this guy, this Topps Chrome, you name it. But if I were to ask you, it's a Topps white border, basically. It's Topps number 2 for 2007 Kevin Durant.
That's a statement.
In PSA 10. If I were to ask you, so it's 2007 Topps rookie card number 2, Kevin Durant. It's the one with the white border. He's in his Supersonics jersey. He's kind of holding the ball in front of it. It's the Topps 50th anniversary card for 2007. If I were to ask you what that card sold for a month ago in PSA 10, what would you say?
First
August.
I love the question. I love that question. It was a statement for a long time, but you made it a question. What annoys
at the end, you put a question mark at the end of anything. You make it a question, but go ahead.
What's annoying is they don't put 50th on the slab. It really annoys me because it clearly shows 50th anniversary Topps on the card.
Right on the card, yep.
On the slab, they don't put 50th anniversary, and I'm like, that's super annoying.
So let me ask it a different way, right? So would it surprise you if I told you I was looking at listings from 8/15 to 8/30, so August 15th to August 30th, so now less than a month ago, and the prices I'm looking at, I'll send you a picture if you like.
It should be right along the lines of a Kawhi Leonard card.
Correct. It was between $1,850 and $2,000 at that point in time, 100%. Now, and I love your comparison. I love the way you do this. You're comparing it to a Kawhi card because Kawhi was, that. Do you remember? But what's the difference between Kevin Durant and Kawhi in that month? Kawhi has lost. Kawhi underimpressed. Kevin Durant hasn't done anything. Kevin Durant's been sitting on the sidelines doing absolutely nothing. So it would make sense to me. And another good $2,000 card, Luka. Luka was $2,000 with his PSA 10 regular card. What's that at now? About
1,200.
About 1,200, right? So let's just say it's down about 40% on the price, and it makes sense because he was eliminated. He lost. You know, people had high hopes for him, and he lost. Same thing with Kawhi, down 40%. He lost. Okay, so Kevin Durant hasn't lost, right? So that's one big difference I want to make sure. So it would surprise me if the Kevin Durant card that we're looking at here also went down 40% in the same time period. No, it wouldn't surprise me it went down. A lot of cards have gone down, but it went down the same precipitous 40% drop that Luka, Kawhi, those guys did after being eliminated. It would surprise me because that would make no sense. I'd see if it went down. So let me ask you a different question. If that would surprise me, I don't know if it surprised you, would it surprise you if I told you that one sold in auction yesterday for under $900?
Not only would it surprise me, it would be an instant play.
So that is exactly what it is. There's my play. So $898 yesterday. One ended in auction. Means it's down 55% from its peak of a month ago. And this is a guy who hasn't stepped on a court.
Really
So, and I love, you like this play. I start to look these things up because you made this play last week talking about the BGS 9.5s. And I normally don't like BGS 9.5s, but when I'm going to bring you a high value card like this, I do want to bring the 9.5 in because a lot of people, even though it went down from 2,000 to 898, even though it's down 55%, a lot of people can't drop $900 on a card. So the BGS 9.5 provides another nice option. So here's a card that last month in PSA 10 was $2,000. On the same day that the PSA 10 auction ended for $898, a BGS 9.5 ended for $382.
It's insanity. Sorry.
No, you're right. I mean, it is insanity. You go ahead, please.
What's a 12-year card?
Yeah.
We're saying Luka and Kawhi cards are going down. Well, those are made on Prism cards, shiny. Those are much easier to grade than that Topps card.
So here's my pick, and then we'll wrap up this episode for you guys. My pick is that Kevin Durant, 2007 Topps #2 white border Sonics jersey, him holding the ball. If you can get the card anywhere near that $898 or the 3 and change that the BGS 9.5 sold for, it's a card I like. I told you with Acuna, you look for now and maybe look for if he doesn't win the World Series and the card goes up and look for it in the offseason. This is a card when basketball is out of sight and out of mind for the next couple of months. And if this card drops or stays in this range, pick it up because he's healthy. He's going to be playing. He's going to be playing for Brooklyn in New York with people here in New York looking to buy his stuff. It is a well-known card. It is a cool-looking white-bordered card, and it's a card that was selling at or near $2,000 at the peak. When he comes back in the lead up to this, it doesn't even have to get to 2,000, right? If you're buying it for 900, right? If it's 1,250, if it's 1,300, if it's 1,500, it doesn't even have to go back to where it was. But wait until he comes back and drops his first 50-point game in the first week or two while playing in a Brooklyn jersey. Everyone's gonna be looking for his cards. There's no real downside to this at this price because I don't even care if he doesn't play again. This is a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the all-time great players. So I like to look for card plays like this where it has a price that it's already been at, and for some unknown reason, just everybody beating up the market, this card has fallen to a level where it's now officially too cheap. So that's it.
Well, this is a very awkward moment. My LeBron Topps Chrome Gem Mint Plus just arrived.
So go get it.
Well, I want to add color here.
Go get it. Go get the card. Go get the card. Well, that's perfectly fine. You can add color to the pick, but you got to run out and meet your postman, because that's a LeBron Chrome 2003, Topps Chrome card. You got to make sure that the mailman is not leaving a little sign on your door that he missed you. Then you beat yourself up the whole weekend. Of course, it's a Saturday, and tomorrow they're not going to deliver, and then you're be sitting there saying, I should have gotten the card. Oh, so he's back and he's got it. That's awesome.
One just put on Facebook literally like a few minutes ago with a subgrade of a 9 for 8K. And I got this for a steal. I am fucking pumped.
So talk while you're opening the box. Talk about, add some color to it, and also tell folks about what you're opening.
Well, there's a few things. I mean, let me make a prediction. I think it's going to be Lakers, Nets in next year's finals. I think I couldn't be higher on Steve Nash as a coach. I love Steve Nash. There's no other way to put it. He's a freaking stand-up guy. Followed his career forever. I love that he played soccer growing up. Playing two sports, I think, always gives you a little more context. I'm out of breath, literally, from just sprinting to the male woman. So I couldn't be higher on Brooklyn, even though I am not a big fan of either of those guys. Here's the thing. You have to take emotion out of this game. So I don't like Kevin Durant very much. I love his game. I kind of dislike that he went to the Warriors even still. It pisses me off that it tarnished not just his legacy. It really tarnished Curry and Clay's legacy in a lot of ways because their titles are asterisked. And that team was unbelievable without Durant. And that still kind of rubs me the wrong way. But taking that out of the equation, the fact that you could get an all-timer, a stock, as David Peck said on that episode, you got to think of these as stocks, that you could buy his stock for $800, $900, or even trade in. Like, you could trade a Zion PSA 10 plus a little cash for this card. To me, that's madness. It's just madness. So to me, it's a no-brainer to get that card. There is something floating around the internet, and I probably made this mistake right here with this LeBron, and I guess we'll see. I think the days are coming where a BGS 9.5 is going to sell for less than a PSA 9. And I think that would have been blasphemy just 6 months ago. But I think the market is shifting so hard to PSA. I think PSA has really upped their standards, where I could see a 9 selling for as much, if not more, than a BGS 9.5. So I gave you guys that play, right? I said buy BGS 9.5s and then cross them over. There's a post right now going on Instagram right now where someone who bought a ton of PSA 9s. She's the best. I have the best sister in the world.
Where's mine? Where's mine?
It's avocado toast.
No way. All right, guys. Yeah, so I had to make him actually acknowledge that his sister just brought food into him, but I saw what it was. So yesterday, kombucha, if I'm saying that right, today, and I made fun of him. I'm like, do you drink that while you have avocado spread on bread that you call avocado toast? So call your sister back, start screaming and say, get back here, you forgot my sriracha. And then, then you'll complete the unholy triumvirate of ridiculous things. Where's my sriracha?
You clown. Oh, man. Hilarious.
We're trying, man. We're trying. But I want you to open this box. I've never seen – it looks like a monkey trying to do dirty things to a football. That's you opening a box. What are you doing there? What are you doing? It's taking forever to open this box. Oh, my God.
I don't know what she's doing back there. I never know what she's doing.
That's right. Ma, the meatloaf. The meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
Look, you open – the box is empty. It's an empty box. Somebody shipped you an empty box. Oh, you should have seen his face, Luganation. Yeah, you, sir, have been scammed. No, it's a box inside a box. Who's the person who decided to torture you with that?
Someone who wanted the card to be safe, right?
I guess. I do that with Christmas presents. I wrap up Christmas presents and wrap it up inside of a box. All right, come on already. I want to see this thing. It's got some bubble wrap.
I really appreciate you guys being patient with me on this episode. I know it's going to be a little bit more loose, a little bit all over the place, but we're excited. It's a Saturday morning one. It's almost like a vlog.
Yeah.
Pog. Audio.
Pog? We should talk about Pogs. Pogs were big in the 90s. All right, so you're going to see a picture of this. He's got a cool card. There it is. It's LeBron, who I hate, but I don't hate that card. That's a great card.
Yeah, and 10 centering for this card is not an easy.
Yeah, because there's a lot of PSA 10s that have centering that are not 10 centering. So yeah, the centering is the first thing I look at on that card. That's a nice card, dude. So let's hear it. Let's hear your first reaction, initial reaction, holding a card like that. Let's go. Our listeners want to hear. That's your cue to actually speak.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful, man. Like, I think we've all been through tough times in our life. We've all had success. You know, life is like the seasons. You have spring, summer, fall, and winter, and we've all experienced them. When things are good, for me, it's really important to stay humble. So that's the first thing. I'm just grateful that I'm even able to afford it. I've been able to make plays that have gone in my favor. I know it's not always going to be like that, but I feel very lucky and blessed.
There you go. Listen, you have to, now that you talk about it, you have to flex it. You have to put it on the episode. You have to show a picture of it on the episode because people have to see what you opened, how you ran out and tackled the mailman. But I know you were out, well, not out, you were in your house, but I know you're partying late. Cops called 3 or 4 times, so I'm sure you have a little bit of a hangover, so I'll let you go. And Luca Nation, thanks for listening, man. Whoa, you got something else?
I think today's plays are really solid. I really like both of our plays today. And it's funny, we flipped it. Yours is expensive, mine's cheap.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, listen, guys, I wouldn't mess with this card raw, the Durant that I give, just to be staying on because, it's real condition sensitive and it's also 13 years old. So any raw ones you're finding on eBay now are ones that, have already been really picked through as much as any card would be picked through. So I wouldn't try to, beat the system on this and buy it raw and think you're going to get a 10 or send it in the PSA. You'd have to get real lucky on that.
Can I ask you, what's the difference between that one and the black border?
One of them came in like a package. One of them came in like a sealed case, like almost like a blister pack, right?
Educate us, because I really don't know what a blister pack is.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to look up a picture of it, and then we can.
And I know that we're going on like 35 minutes here, so it's a little bit of a longer episode. But to be honest, I've gotten some really good feedback. We do try to keep these short, sweet, succinct. But at the same time, people have said they love some of the longer episodes where we do previews and recaps. So
sure. So I'm gonna take I don't know. I'll share you a picture. But basically, if you type into eBay now, just as a search term, 2007 Topps Kevin Durant white #2 sealed, what you'll find is, like hanger packs where they have like, there's actually like a perforated spot so they can hang it on those metal bars in, so that white card came in in one of those. It was a 14 card set. That's 2007, 2008 Topps NBA basketball rookie card set.
Okay.
So that's that. Go ahead.
Like I go into Walmart and I literally see that I'm going to buy a Kevin Durant for $14.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously not now, but yes, Kevin Durant was on the front of the pack on some of them. Greg Oden was on the front of the pack on some of them. When they're the sealed pack, some of them have Durant on the front. I mean, if you search now, you'll see sealed ones. But the thing is, they weren't in plastics. They weren't in top loaders. They were sealed on this hanger pack with like a plastic overlap on it. And obviously, if any kind of jarring of it, any kind of movement of it, if it fell, you name it, it would be damaged. And 7-8 was a weird time because basketball came in so many different kind of packs. You know what a rack pack is, Andrew? So a rack pack is like those plastic cello wrapped in 3 sections. Used to be baseball cards were done that way. And so there were rack packs, usually retail, same kind of thing. It'd be hanging on a pack and you'd open up 3 different packs. If you guys don't know what this is, type in 2007 NBA rack pack and you'll see pictures of it. And that's a Kevin Durant black border rookie card, number 112. I like the white one better. And if you really want to go nuts, you'll see there was even an orange version of it as well. That also came in sealed cellophane packs. But to me, the one that was, approachable, the one that there's liquidity on, the one that people look for, and the one that jumped to $2,000 in August was that white border. But yeah, take a look, drive around. There's definitely many different ways to play the Durant 07, 08 Topps. But to me, that white one is the one that, will move with the market. Go ahead.
We'll wrap with this. So I'm looking here. So the Kevin Durant 2007 Topps Chrome cards.
Yeah.
They're around $7,000.
Expensive card, yeah.
if you think about that, LeBron is probably double the price of that, right? LeBron's are right around 12K.
Yep.
Look at the LeBron Topps card with him in his white suit, $1,000 card.
Yep.
Topps Kevin Durant card is an $1,000 card. So
Yep.
back multiples, those multiples don't make sense.
They're out of whack.
Where the Topps Chrome Durant is only half the price of LeBron, but the Topps Durant is a fourth. So that feels, I think that's even out. So I wouldn't be, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, this is your play. I wouldn't be going and getting the Topps Chrome card right now. I would be getting
Well, because this one here, when it was $2,000, it made sense. Under $1,000 makes no sense. I mean, even if you want to beat the card up and take 40% off the price like everybody else's cards have dropped, it should still be a $1,200, $1,250 card, $1,100 card, not a $900 card. So, that's when that auction ended and I saw that price. I'm like, all right, this has to be the play because, people should be getting in on this card at that price. So that's the deal.
There you guys have it. Happy Saturday.
Take care. Enjoy that avocado toast. Everybody hear the guy chewing? Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.